Hello everyone, it's Harry from Northwind Quantity Surveyors and I'm here with our client Alex. Thanks Alex for joining in. We're going to talk about Alex's background, his vision, and we're working on a project at the moment. It's in Brighton, so I'll let Alex introduce yourself. Alex.
Sure. Good morning, Harry.
Yeah, morning.
Thank you very much for joining us. You've been doing a tremendous job in
Thank you,
keeping
Alex.
everyone abreast of what's happening in these rather challenging and concerning times. But as we
Yes.
can point out a little bit later on, we really do see a silver lining in all of this, and we feel that this has created a wonderful opportunity for those in the property market, those that are looking to get in, those that are looking to consolidate their position and
Yes.
acquire.
Yes.
There probably hasn't been a better time in real estate over the last decade.
Yeah. No, it's very good to see that you're very positive.
Well, you have to remain positive in times like this, don't you?
Yes.
We feel that location is key.
Yes.
We feel that good quality real estate will always sell. There's a strong fundamental demand for real estate in Australia. There's a strong demand, in particular for Melbourne. There's a reason why Melbourne was voted the number one
livable city
in the world, and
that's right.
I think that will come home to roost in the years to come.
Sure. Alex, you mentioned about positioning and things like locations is very important. Let's talk about your project and the location of this project.
Yeah, sure. So our Hall Street, Brighton. I mean, first of all, a little bit about me and about our organisation.
Please.
Development company is called PBA and Co.
Yeah.
We've got 3 live projects. One of which is here in Hall Street, Brighton, 300 metres out from Church Street, right across the road from the Balilla Mansion.
Beautiful.
Second project is just literally around the corner here at 52 Black Street in Brighton.
Okay.
5 luxury apartments, and the third one that's just been lodged into Stonington at 79 Clendon Road in Toorak. So we've been very, very active and still very much on the acquisition trail.
Yes.
So we feel, as I mentioned earlier, that there are some exceptional opportunities out there in Melbourne, and we're very much looking to acquire, the right site, and they've got to be right. And coming back to your question around location, the reason why we bought this site here, the location was just exceptional. Being so close to all the amenity of Church Street, Brighton, being so close to this wonderful park here at Balilla, then was coupled with incredible architecture from Christian Giorgio and Jack Merlo Landscaping, and they've just been able to come up with a tremendous design that will really stand the test of time. We were lucky enough to have one of these town residences on the market in just before the coronavirus issue hit, and we were able to really establish a record price for the area of almost $5 million for one of these town residences, which is a really good news story.
Yes.
I'm very passionate about this particular project, not because of the architecture and location, but because it's going to be my own personal home here. So can't wait to move in.
Yes.
And I'm sure that over the coming months we can have a couple of more of these and maybe give the viewers a bit of an update of how this is all coming together, because it's exciting. The basement's done, the structure's coming up, the walls are coming up, the swimming pools have been done, and things are moving along, and we haven't seen any significant delays, which is great.
Sure.
We're working with our suppliers, working with our trades to get deposits paid early. So you need to be proactive in this market.
Yes.
You can't stagnate.
Yeah.
So we've been taking all the right steps to avoid having the delays at the back end. And I must admit that our suppliers have been fantastic in working with us in being able to deliver that.
Yeah, sure. And by talking to the builder earlier, there's no major concerns or delays. A little bit, but not much for this project.
Yeah,
and
correct.
They're very proactive and looking at through the procurement process of suppliers and subcontractors that lining up to finish the project on time.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I must admit, Frank Victoria have done a tremendous job. I had as you know, we had a slight hiccup with the original builder on the site, and Frank has just been absolutely tremendous in being able to deliver a very high end architectural product. So we just can't wait to see and showcase the final product, hopefully sometime back end of this year.
Yeah, that's great. Alex, you mentioned about hiccups and things like that. I mean, would you be able to share some of the issues and what lessons you learned from that? And if you were
Yeah.
to do that again,
Yeah,
just some
look,
tips for some
Look,
developers?
absolutely. Listen, there's no textbook in this, and I think that most developers will testify to that. We unfortunately had a hiccup here on site where a builder went bust. We did, and
Very unfortunate, yeah.
collaboratively, we did the background checks on these builders, but unfortunately, you can't pick pick all the knots out, and
Sure.
at a very early stage, the builder went bust. It was just when the basement was being dug. So, there wasn't a lot of fundamental issues. Builder taking over.
Yes.
So from that perspective, we were lucky. But you need to take these challenges head on.
Sure.
As soon as you start getting into it just gets you down. You need to remain positive. And even in this market here, you've got to remain positive. You've got to look at the opportunities. You've got to plan
Yes.
for what's ahead. You've got to look at 6, 12, 18, 24 months. You need to go on the attack.
Yeah.
If you start to retreat,
Yes.
it's like in war.
Yeah.
If you start to retreat, you're in trouble. So you have to attack. You have to remain positive, and you had to be on the front foot with any with the changes. And look, I faced a lot of challenges on this particular project.
Yes.
Let's be frank, and you're aware of these. Having an insurance company involved is a challenging process,
Yes.
but it's one that I was able to conquer within 4 weeks. I had and a shout out to Asset Insure. They did a terrific job in paying out within 4 weeks. The process was managed impeccably well. We got Frank to take the job over,
Yes.
and it's just been seamless from that process.
And
on.
you had a really good financier that really supports you.
Absolutely,
and understands
absolutely,
you.
it's critical. We're very well financially backed by the financier, and they look. And it also comes down to communication.
Yes.
If you're up front with a financier, they will back you to infinity. So.
Yeah.
You're right. They were brilliant. I must say that the financial, I won't mention their name, was excellent throughout the process, and they're looking forward to financing us on the next project and the project after that, because of the level of confidence that they have in us as an entity, and in the level of transparency that we've been able to illustrate to them.
Yeah. So Alex, I hear you saying that it's important to have the right team and going through difficulties. What's your experience in and your sharing in working with like a quantity surveyor? How important is that within a project, and how does that help you?
Yeah, look, it's critical, and I think that it's critical from the outset of the project. There's no point in getting all the way through to having a builder quote a job up and then getting a big surprise when the quote comes in at 30 or 40% more than what you anticipated or budgeted for. So if you get a Northwind in at an early stage, get them to cost it for you, as good as we are internally at costing. You guys do this for a living.
Yeah, sure.
So get the project costed. There's no bad, nasty surprises. It becomes an easier proposition to then budget all the way through, talk to your financiers. So we're doing it on our second project. We've got the QS in place, the funder in place, the valuer in place, and it just works. And then of course, during the course of construction, the QS is absolutely critical in coming out to inspect and really having an independent third eye on the progress and
assessing claims.
Absolutely,
and
assessing claims has been critical. And look, you've picked up things along the way that we haven't. So it's critical to and we see it as a real investment, in our projects and having the right quantity surveyor on board, because you've got a world of experience and a world of knowledge that you can't buy. So we're very grateful to Northwind to have such a great partner, and we look at you as a partner rather than just a supplier or
Yeah, thank you, Alex. I'm so glad to hear you